Welcome back to Sportsmanlike Conduct Podcast. I'm your host, Cassius Clee, and we are back in the studios of Industry City, Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Today we got a special show. We are in the house with three veterans. I'm sure you all know one, my man Rudeness.
What's up?
A veteran of 22 years,
Yes,
U.S.
sir.
Army.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for your services, my brother.
No doubt.
And to your left, no, I'm sorry. To my left, no, I'm sorry. To your right.
Get it right.
To the right.
Is Elena, a 4-year military veteran, the Marine Corps, yo.
That's correct.
Let's have a push-up contest right now.
We don't do push-ups. We do crunches. We do hangs.
Okay, sorry.
We run.
All right. And to my left, I got to get this name right. I'm going to just say Nay.
Thank
All right?
you.
That's cool.
Thank
A
you.
13-year veteran,
Yes.
U.S. Army.
Hoorah.
Let's go.
I want to thank you for your services as well.
Thank you for
And
your
Elena,
support.
thank you for your services.
Thank you for your support.
All right. Interested to know how you know my main man, Rudeness, over here.
Rudy. So me and Rudy
You don't
met.
even know him as Rudeness, probably.
No, I know him as a different name, but me and Rudy met 3 years ago, and we've been working in the veteran services and veteran housing spaces, helping veterans get gainful employment and also helping to fight against veteran homelessness.
Wow.
Yep.
Can you top that, Rudeness?
Can't top that, kid. Can't top that at all. She said it all.
And Nay,
Yes.
how do you know Elena? Because I just met you like a week ago,
You did.
right? And
We
Rudeness just met you a week ago as well.
Yeah. So I've been knowing Elena now, almost a year? About a year. She came in to interview with us at my agency. And off the back, I told her right then and there, like, I want you to work for us. And then some things happened behind the scenes, and she wound up going in a different way, but we remain friends.
Friends.
Yes,
Genuine
we're sisters
friends.
You
in
got it,
service,
Okay.
as we would say.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, so both of you ladies both served in the armed forces. So I'm going to ask you a question about what did you do in the military? Like, what was your MOS and what was your duties? Start
Hold
with
on
you,
a
Elena.
second. What's the MOS?
All right, so
I'm not familiar with these.
All right, so for those who don't know, MOS
Military.
is the military occupational specialist. Pretty much what your job is when you serve in the armed forces.
Okay.
So as a Marine, Elena, what was your job in the armed forces and what was your duties?
So my job, I originally was contracted as something else, but my job that I actually served under was a 6046, which the term is called an aviation data specialist. So my job was to keep what we call in the military birds, so our aircraft and our jets, safe for flight. So that involved making sure the schedule was correct, making sure equipment and the mechanics did their job, kind of being like the inspector and making sure the flight data. So we had another team that watched the flight data, making sure that nothing happened while the pilots were in the air, just making sure that we are ready for the fight and, birds are ready to go in the air when we put people in those seats.
Cool. Nay, same question.
So I was a 92 Yankee, which is a unit supply specialist. So we basically got everything everyone needed. When we went to war, we pushed, just different things throughout the country. So anything you needed, I got it. And I kind of learned how to leverage that when we was overseas to get certain things for the unit. But basically just taking care of everybody. 92 Yankee, that's what we do.
Okay. So basic training, share your experience. How was basic training when you went in?
So I feel as though when I went into basic training,
But where did you go to basic training at?
I went to basic training, Parris Island, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere, but the home of the sand fleas. Basic training, I went in the summertime, so it was really, really hot. When you train in the Marine Corps, it is 90 training days. And then also there's a thing called like Black Flag when it gets really, really hot. And my whole training season, going through boot camp was Black Flag maybe about 90% of the time. So, yeah, I lost a lot of weight. The sun really, really, me and the sun became really, really good friends. But boot camp was reconditioning my body and my mind. And everything that they put us through, it didn't make sense when you were going through it. But once it was done, we understood why they had to do things a certain way. And it made me a better person currently. So boot camp was fun. Boot camp was hard, but boot camp was also, it was what I needed at the time in my life.
Okay.
How old were you?
So when I went to boot camp, I was 19 going on 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to South Carolina. Our cameraman Joe's also from South Carolina. Same question, Nay.
I did my basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina strong in
Relaxing Jackson. Yeah.
Relaxing Jackson. Basic training was it wasn't that hard, but it was difficult. I just maybe 4 months prior had a baby. So, and then I went to basic training. So I still had like that baby fat, that baby weight. And so it was just like reconditioning my mind, my body, getting fit. But most people, I always say that they try to break you down to build you back up. And it's just how you maintain it, really. But it was a good thing. It taught me that I can push my body to a certain degree and get the results that I wanted. And a lot of discipline. It taught me a lot of discipline.
Okay. You served, 13 years in
13?
the military?
Yep.
Why after 13 years did you decide to just leave the Army altogether?
I had a kid. I had a baby. I was about to go on my 3rd deployment, and I just felt like it wasn't for me no more. I wanted to be a mom. I already knew how it was to go through having a baby, going through, service and being away and then coming back and being away. And it kind of, being a mother, it puts a damper on your relationship with your child because they don't understand, like, you're making these sacrifices to give them a better life. But they sometimes see that it's just you being away. They don't understand the fight and the hardness. And I didn't want to have that separation from the baby, because he was, when I would have went back, he would have been about 2, and I was like, that's too young, too soon. I didn't want to be away from him, so I made the choice to step away from my career and just pursue something different.
Nice. I have a follow-up question. Where were you deployed, and how long? How long was your deployment?
So my first deployment was to Iraq. My second deployment was to Kuwait, and both was over a little over a year.
Wow. That's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
What about you, Elena?
Yeah, 4 years. Why did you decide to get out after 4 years?
So kind of similar. I just had a child, and my child had some health complications. So I felt as though it would be less selfish to just get out and focus on being a mother and focus on prioritizing his health concerns. So, and what I was faced with, the Marine Corps, and it's what I signed up for, and it's what was instilled in me. The Corps always comes first. So I had to, make sure my family came first. And that was the choice that I made.
What kind of plan did you ladies have to put in place before you went off to the military to make sure your loved ones were being looked after, being taken care of? Like what obstacles that you had to go through in order to make sure that your family was good while you went off serving?
So I could take that one. For both of us, we had to do a family care plan because at the time when I went in, I wasn't married. So I left my son, with my mother. So my mother was my family care plan.
Okay.
So yeah.
For me, not as similar, kind of opposite. I was young and figuring out life and trying to decide what type of adult I wanted to be. And I made an impulsive decision, and I spent about 6 or 7 months training for that decision. And I just did it. I felt that I had the mental capacity to do it, and I felt what was going on in my life currently, I guess you can say in the civilian space, wasn't fulfilling enough, and just wasn't fulfilling me.
Okay. You can go. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you say the family care plan, this is a plan that you made up, or is this in with line step with the military? Like you come up with it together?
So the family care plan is a document. It's an institutional document across all the branches. So when you do have a family, a spouse, they make you fill one out. So my unit sometimes would have to go like to the field to do special field ops. So you do training, or I had to go to Nevada for special training. You have to kind of just, I'm not going to say ditch your family, but you have to leave sometimes with 20 to 48 hours notice. Yeah. And you have to, they don't care if you're a single parent. They don't care if, your spouse depends on you as far as kind of care. You have to figure out what's going to happen to that family member. You have to let them know you're going to send them to another place. Somebody is flying in to take care of them. They want to know.
Yeah. So would you consider like a living will while you're serving?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the whole point of the family care plan is to, just in case something happens to that veteran or that soldier while they're serving, that they, whether it be their child or their elderly parent, whatever, they being looked after. So the military want to make sure that that's covered for them. So that'd be one less thing that soldier have to worry about while they're serving.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. It's typically immediate family. So, direct child, your direct dependent spouse, those people that you take care of. They know where they are. They know how to contact them in the event that there's a big emergency, or, you have to leave, and they need to know how they're going to be taken care of.
This may sound sexist, right? But I think that a woman who's a mother should have a little bit more leeway in the military if you're serving. No? You don't agree?
No. The military...
we would agree, but of course not.
It's across the board. Men and women, the same.
They're the same.
We have to fight for equality. So in the Marine Corps, there's no such thing. It's almost like a curse word to say female Marine. There's no such thing as a female Marine. You are a Marine. Soldier. Yeah, there's no such thing as a female soldier. You are a soldier. You are the title.
Right. So my next question was going to be, do you think women are treated unfairly in the military?
Of course. But we know what we sign up for. So it just makes us, work a little bit harder to prove ourselves.
I think the expectation is lower for us. They just expect sometimes lower for us, and we surprise them. But the bar is set low, and we always just have to raise that bar.
In your 4 years, that there was an incident where like the expectation was, the bar was moved low for you?
Yes,
that's a good question.
There was a specific time.
That's a good question.
So when towards the end of my contract, when I had got pregnant, there was an expectation that I was no longer physically fit, and I would just, lose myself and start getting weight and get lazy. And we had a company run, and I think I was on the cusp of 4 months pregnant. And it was a shock when I was passing my staff sergeant and I was passing my sergeant. And they were like,
Nice.
"Oh my goodness, look at Ferguson. Look at her go." And I personally, I worked out during my pregnancy. I never let anything stop me or limit me. So it was business as usual. So it was business as usual for me, because I never want someone to feel that they have to pick up the slack because of something, because of me. So yeah, that was one moment that I always remind people of, and I always remember that. Yeah, I did not slack off just because I was growing another human being in my body.
Nice.
What about you, Nay?
I don't know. I just was a rebel. I I just did my job and kept it moving. But they do look at us a whole lot lower. When I was pregnant, our unit was in the process of moving from one location to the other. And because I was over that move, what the senior leadership did was pick up their laptops and everything they could take out their office and just left me to make sure everything else got to the new location. And of course, I yell, kick, scream, but I got it done with the little bit of help that they tried to take away from me. So, yeah.
Combat school, right?
Yes.
What was your favorite firearm?
Of course, the 9.
For me, it's always so there's 2 different rifles that I qualified on. So you have the M2 and M4.
Yep.
And I want to say I like the big boy. I like the
I like the 50 cal. It's kind of fun.
Okay, so I had a bad experience with the
I
50 cal.
gotta be honest. I don't know what guns y'all talking about.
So these are like guns.
There's different
All I know is
sizes
the nine,
of
'cause
different
the nine
guns.
is
Yeah.
9, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know what the hell
There's
y'all
different
talking
sizes. So I feel like with the 9, I did shoot, but I didn't qual on that gun. I didn't have to, because I never reached. In the Marine Corps, you have to be a staff NCO, and I didn't reach that level. And I feel as far as stability when you're shooting, if you don't have a certain level of forearm strength, that recoil on the 9 it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, the 9mm is pretty much like the officers, like a lieutenant or commander's weapon of choice. All the other soldiers get but back then M16, that was the M4.
Yeah.
But share with us your experience with the 50 cal.
So the 50 cal, I don't know if it was just the luck of the draw, but I got hot brass years ago on my neck. It was just, and it was like all in my uniform, and I'm traumatized. And that was
So with the 50 cal,
that was one time,
the bullets shoot back.
because it's shooting so fast.
Right.
Yeah.
You put it in a chain and it just hit the button. It's do-do-do-do-do. And then,
For the viewers, like what a 50 cal is. Remember the movie Rocky with Sylvester Stallone? No, not Rocky. The movie
Rambo?
Rambo, where Stallone had this big ass gun and he was shooting from his hip. It's actually a big ass weapon that sits on a tripod.
Yeah.
And the rounds about this long.
And it went, hit your neck, and then went down.
Yeah.
I went towards the back, and I'm just like losing it.
Because you panic. You
Losing
feel that
it.
hot
It's just
heat
hot,
on your
too.
neck.
It's hot. It's like hot
That heat ain't
coal
no
on your
joke.
back. It's hot. It's hot.
Anything like that happen to you?
Nope.
No? What's your weapon of choice?
I like the 9.
The 9?
I have a 380 though.
Yeah, right now?
Yeah.
On you?
Not on
Packing?
No, not on me.
You got
But-
that thing on you?
Came
I
with
do
the
not. For the record, I do not have a weapon on me, okay?
Oh,
Yo,
no.
Joe,
Yeah.
you metal
Word
detectors
up.
next podcast, bro.
No. But no, I have a 380.
380, nice.
Yeah.
All right. That's what's up, man. Combat school. So here's my next question. How do you think the military has shaped your life?
It definitely, for me, it gave me discipline. Just growing up in the Bronx and just being a Bronx girl.
Shout out to the Boogie Down.
Yes.
BX.
Shouts out Bronx River. But yeah, it gave me a lot of discipline. It made me look at things. It gave me a lot of order too. discipline and order. So I live a certain way. I try to teach my boys to live a certain way. And yeah, I think that's it, really. Stability, maybe.
Same question for you, lady.
Okay, same question, different answer. For me, it gave me routine. It gave me just kind of, and I'm also still like a creature of habit, the same thing all the time, doing the same thing, my body always wakes up at the same time. Just kind of like keeping a routine, because before that, even though I was still young, there was no routine in my life. And then also perseverance, because even though I was an athlete, I was also a complainer. And the Marine Corps showed me how much I can push my body and how much I can push my mind to make my body do things. So, yeah, perseverance for sure. Anything is achievable.
Nice.
That's true.
Do you?
Goodness, hold on. I asked you the same question, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to answer.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
shape your
you
life.
keep
Yeah.
skipping.
I know.
Like
See,
you,
my
you're in the
life?
military
Yeah,
too.
Yeah,
So-
like,
so-
I'm ready to
2
ask
year
Regnet some questions.
Exactly.
It's pretty much the same, like, discipline, because when you out there surviving as a young person, you're not getting much guidance. Maybe your parents are too busy, with work, or you might have an older sibling that's out doing their thing. There's nobody in the house teaching you structure. So the military definitely provided that to me in terms of having structure.
That's the day I met you. You had on
Yeah.
full fatigue, bro.
Yeah.
Boots shining.
Yeah.
Came through.
Back then, you had the shine boots.
Oh, yeah, you had
don't
to
got
shine them
shine
boots.
boots now.
You had on a
But
full garment.
it definitely taught me structure. But I got a question for y'all. Do you still fold your socks up and keep your uniform, keep your clothes like dress right dress? Make
I
hospital
do.
corners?
My
Who
socks,
does
yeah.
I
that?
don't.
You
I
don't do
don't.
that?
No.
You don't
The
fold-
socks, yeah.
No.
It's
No,
a
you
little
still fold
easy.
your socks?
I do.
You don't fold your socks? You're a Marine.
No, when I do pack for vacation, I do pack it a certain way. Like everything is rolled. The outfits are together down to the underwear, the socks, and things.
Yeah.
But I don't do that no more.
No. You don't take
No.
make the hospital corners?
No,
Oh,
I'm
no.
trying to be a
No?
regular person.
Okay.
I'm trying to be normal.
It's hard though.
Yeah, I'm trying to be
All right.
normal.
Thanks, ladies. We're going to come back. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to
Okay.
come back and talk about the podcast that you guys are starting.
Okay.
Real anxious to talk about that. Sportsmanlike Conduct Podcast. We'll be right back. Peace. We are back with the military crew here.
Yes, sir.
Elena and Nay,
Yes.
right? I got a question, right? How many people did you kill when you were overseas?
If I gotta tell
Got
you,
any
I gotta
kills?
kill you.
Yeah, how many kills you got? That's how you say it? How many kills?
You can say it any way you want to say it.
If I tell
Pe-
you, then I
people
have to
don't-
kill you.
We don't kill anybody. Nobody kills
No?
anybody.
No?
Why would we
Marines?
do that?
It's the
Marines don't-
military.
So
It's
what,
war.
do you call it?
So
How do you expire somebody then? You're not killing them. How do you do that?
unalived. How did you unalive someone?
Yeah.
Elena?
I have never unalived anyone in my entire life.
Okay. What about you?
If I tell you, I have to kill you.
All right. You saw some things, though.
Definitely.
You share that. Share what you saw, because you did like what, 2-3 deployments, right?
2.
2 deployments. And what year did you go?
My first deployment was 2009.
Was it
Yeah,
was it
2009.
active then in terms of like
Oh yes.
surges and stuff like that?
Yeah, we were in Al-Assad, Iraq. So it's an Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy was there. They come in and out. We were pushing out convoys all throughout Iraq, all the way up to Bagram, Bahrain, all that. And a lot of times, like a couple of times, the convoys coming back in, got IUD right before you came in. I remember one night, it was crazy. Complacency.
Sorry. What's IUD?
improvised explosive.
Okay.
I forgot you.
Hey, I'm
You're
civilian. I'm just a
civilian.
civilian.
I'm
y'all.
sorry.
I'm just a
It's like
new guy.
it's
y'all.
like a homemade explosive
Yeah.
device.
IMD.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
One night we got so complacent. Well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but I probably got complacent. And all you heard was boom, boom. It just sounded like somebody was fighting. And in Iraq we stayed in, they call them chews. So they're like trailers, and they break them up and put them into different rooms. And we kept hearing this noise. So I'm like, damn, what they shut the hell up? And then the next morning when we went into the top, that's where we had our morning briefings from overnight. We were getting hit by bombs and we didn't even know. But the trajectory of the bomb was actually off. And if it was right, it would have wiped us all out.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was like the craziest. Besides people committing suicide, which the suicide rates were really, really high.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Suicide is pretty much high in all the armed forces, just for various type of reasons. Whether it be you overseas and you thinking that you're gonna be killed by enemy fire, or whether you overseas and like your someone that you're dating or your husband might be, having relationships with other people while you're over there serving.
Yeah.
It's endless in terms of like what the average soldier thinks about and contemplates suicide.
What about the females' mindset over there?
While you serving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as suicide, you think females are mentally stronger than the men?
I think absolutely women are stronger than men.
Wow, okay.
Mentally,
Mentally, yes.
I do that.
Definitely.
By the way.
100%.
Let me say it a little bit louder.
Yes.
But I definitely think that women are stronger. And I feel as though there are some weak men who may try to take advantage of that or challenge that. As we've seen in different branches, things that have happened when a woman has a little bit of authority or power within the ranks, or she might be a little bit better at the job than you are. It's no different than the regular world. It's a little bit of intimidation, and sometimes men, I've heard men say this, they want to, break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
They want to show you your place in life and in the military. So
Tell them this ain't the 1940s.
So you
What the hell?
experienced that within your 4 years in the Marines?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when I was a junior Marine, I was just around some leadership that male leadership. I was always the one female in the room. So it's always one of us. And they were intimidated by how well I could do my job, how fast I could do my job. And then they were also doing things outside of the uniform, getting in trouble. So one of our senior leadership decided that he was going to put me in charge of the shift as an E3. And that caused a lot of tension. And yeah, that was my first time actually learning how to be, quote unquote, a manager and managing other people that were a lot older than me and should have been more capable than me, but they just weren't at that time.
Did you witness a lot of violence against women when you were over in Iraq?
Yeah, I did. It's I'm gonna just leave it like that.
All right, cool. So this brings me to why we're here, right? You guys are starting, you women are starting a podcast. So why don't you tell us what the name of it is and why you started this podcast?
So the name of it is Service She Said, and I'll let Elena tell you more about
Service
it.
She Said podcast.
Exactly.
So like my partner said, Danae, I'm Elena. We are both starting a podcast called Service She Said. Service She Said is meant to bridge the gap between commitment to service and burnout. And it's kind of a little bit of a pun because we both served in the armed forces. and we both dedicate our lives to serving others. And we definitely want to talk about women who serve in different capacities and also interview them and have honest conversations about that. Because as women, we have been raised to serve other people, whether it's our family, whether it is our partners, whether it is our children, or in our careers. We constantly are serving others, and there's not many career fields that don't, insist on you serving an entity, a being, or another person. So just real conversations about that.
Yeah. And to piggyback off what Elena said, we don't get our story told a lot because we're in a male dominated field. Everybody is just like, oh, you was in the army, let's have a beer, let's talk about this. But as female veterans and just women in general, it's so much division that is brought between us because it's always like some type of competition. And I try to instill in women in general and females that I'm not in competition with you. What I bring to the table is to help you, is not to harm you. So with this podcast, we really want to bridge that gap and bring more sisterhood, more, friendship, love on each other a little bit more, and give the women the opportunity to really tell their story and, just be heard. Because sometimes we are women with no voice. So we're going to, try to change that up.
And one of the things that we spoke about earlier, one of the reasons why veteran suicide is so high is because everybody thinks it's only happening to them. So,
Right.
Just to bring back that community and not get away from that oneness that you are the only person going through this really, really traumatic event or this chaotic time, or you're backed in a corner about this particular situation. It's happening to all of us, sometimes at different time periods in our lives or sometimes at the same time period. So,
Right.
I have a question for all three of you, right?
okay.
Do you know anyone who committed suicide in the military?
Yes, several.
I knew,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah?
I knew several people, but too personal that was close to me. And I feel like with one, I feel like I missed the call. And if I wouldn't have missed that call, maybe I could have said something to her to make her change her mind, or, because I was always her outlet.
You mean you weren't able to answer the phone?
I didn't even see the call. It was, she was in Spain, and first of all, let me back it up for y'all. We were neighbors. She was a captain in the army. She retired out. I got out, but we lived like 2 houses down. And she would always come to my house when she would have like different little episodes. And she'd be like, I just need time to get away. So I talk to her and, we'd laugh, have wine or something, and then she'd go. When I got out in 2018, she and her family were taking a contract to work with the military over in Spain because she was a nurse. And while she was there, the last conversation I had with her was like, hey, I think I'm going to come over, spend some time, see you and the family. Because our kids were like kind of in the same. My son was actually older than her kids, but he would always play basketball with her son. And she was like, yeah, I love that. And then maybe it was right during COVID. She called me on Facebook Messenger, and I don't know how I missed that call. And when a mutual friend of ours reached out to me to let me know that she committed suicide, I was going back, like, I just talked to her, trying to, piece together the timeline. And I seen I had that missed call. And so it kind of brought, like, guilt on me because I was like, dang, what was I doing? Or what distracted me to the point that I missed that message? And so, yeah. And then I had another friend that I went to high school with, and we graduated. I actually dated his cousin, but he went to war and came back and kind of had like survivor's remorse, and he committed suicide in front of his wife and their newborn child.
Wow.
Good
He
luck to you,
shot
Raven.
himself.
in front of his wife.
Yeah.
So mine was a little bit different. So it was a male friend that I had. I was close with his wife, but she was also a civilian. He actually caused physical domestic harm to her, dealing with service and coming back from deployment. And when he came back from deployment, he got out. And they always look like the perfect couple, but turns out that wasn't the case. And then he committed suicide to kind of escape from the repercussions of what he did to her. Mm-hmm. So it was hard for their whole family and their children. That one was a lot because I was really, really close to them. And, you know, again, your husband has committed suicide. That is your husband who you love, who you have children with. It was hard. And he also did something very bad to you before he died. So it was a very eerie feeling for sure. And then I've known friends who I went to boot camp with, who we've lost touch over the years, and just hearing about them committing suicide and just not knowing what their story was, what was the process that got them there, what did they actually go through while they served. So
yeah, my experience was with a recruiter back in 2020, 2021. I was doing my last contract. This recruiter, he would come all the way from New Jersey all the way to my house in Queens and make sure all my documentations was together so I can do this extended contract. And you know, sometimes with suicide, like, you never know that a person is going through something, but they be going through a whole lot. You just don't know.
Right.
And he did everything and made sure that my contract was good. I was able to re-enlist, and I'm gonna say about maybe a month after I got my my next contract from him, I heard he shot himself in the head, and it tormented me because I me and this dude interacted all the time. Mm-hmm. He was a sergeant first class, real calm, collective dude. He gave no indication that he was going through anything, and it was just a sad thing. The armed forces, the Army now, and they've been doing this for a while, but every quarter, because suicide is such a big thing, that they make sure that the soldiers in the unit have outlets, have resources, so just in case if they contemplating suicide, there's always somebody you can talk to. You know, the first person of choice, they recommend that you speak to like a minister, you know, to talk about any issues that you might be going through. They got buddy systems, like they got a whole bunch of stuff out there, so soldiers that are going through it, you know, they got somebody to talk to. But that was my experience.
I could imagine a civilian, right, has issues, but a soldier at war, away from their family, children, kids, regular life, just being isolated from a mission they might not even agree or understand why they're really there. But yeah, that's tough. I feel bad.
I think it's also the simple fact that just remembering all the women that I served in boot camp with, they came from all over the country. We had girls from Idaho, Iowa, Seattle, Washington, you know, all over the country, because all of the women in the Marine Corps at that time, they all went to Parris Island, South Carolina. So now they break it up. You can go to the West Coast, but at that time it was just South Carolina. And a lot of these women they're escaping from different things that they were going through back at home. And now they're put in this stressful environment where people are yelling at you. It's intense. You have to be disciplined. And a lot of people join in their early 20s, so you're still kind of not mature yet. So it's at one point, I don't know if it still is the number one stressful job in the country, but at one point, I know when I served and a report came out, it was the number one stressful job in the country. So to do that, to be young and probably be your first job, maybe, or maybe your second job, it's a lot on a person. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's tough. So this Service She Said podcast,
Yep.
what are you hoping to gain from this? Like, who are you hoping to reach? And what resources do you have to help the veterans?
We want to read. Well, it's just not for veterans. You know,
Okay.
that's our basis, but we want to reach women in service across the world. You know, even though our backgrounds is the military, it's women out there that are powerhouses that's not in the military that need to tell a story. You know, they're no different than we are. We just have this stigma because, you know, we're veterans, but we just want them to be able to give they input, they output, and tell us about what they're doing in the industry. You know, we now live in a civilian world. We have civilian jobs, but we still interact in the military community. So, you know, and that aspect of it, you know, is we come across a lot of different women. Like I said, they're powerhouses, so they have their stories, and you know they don't get a chance to tell it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the first episode. You know what I'm saying? This is amazing stuff y'all doing.
We have been our ruse. We might bring you on our show.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe
So
what it's like, you know, as anybody in your family served. Has anybody in your family served?
All my uncles and aunts. And
Yeah.
And the aunts that didn't go married men that were in service.
So that's
basically
also a special conversation. What was that like?
Oh, well, they tried to get me to go, but I had dreads and I wasn't cutting them. So. But yeah, my pops are over 25 years, uncles 25 years. Like they all went. My pops went first, then all his brothers followed. Yeah, we had a military family from the time I was born. My father was away when my mother was pregnant, and he came back for the wedding because my mother was pregnant at their wedding. So, holla at me.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, his father, I was in the control group when I met them. Like I didn't really have like a military home because my unit had shut down and I refused to go out to Queens. And it's only till when I met him and his father, he encouraged me to go back into the service.
Oh wow!
So shout out to his dad because I've been
Shout
serving.
out, Dad.
Shout out, Pops.
Yeah, I've been serving ever since, and
shout
my
out to
son is
Pops.
serving as well. So
So Rudy, by you saying that, my question for you is, how does it feel to serve with your son?
it feels great, man. Like at first, I was a little hesitant because you know when you young, it's like you just want to be the only one serving. You know, you just making that sacrifice for your family all together.
Right.
But you know, as he started getting older and started developing to a young man, I just felt like, you know, it would be a good thing for him. At first, he was going to join to be the Marines first, but his mom was not having that. You know, so because it's understood that the Marines are the first ones to go to the front line and stuff. So,
Is that true?
It is true,
Yeah,
but I
okay.
made it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So she had none of that. So she wouldn't have none of that. So but you know, he eventually decided to go in. He joined the National Guard, or he's in the National Guard now, and he loves it, man. He's overseas now. He'll be coming home soon. And you know, shout out to Tyreek. Shout out to Tyreek.
What's up, Tyreek?
Yeah.
good job, Dad.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Good job.
I'm going to share this here. On August 6, 2023, a man was driving an SUV in Massapequa with his 12-year-old daughter, 11-year-old son, and 6-year-old granddaughter. The man was taking his family out for some ice cream to celebrate his new job when another vehicle struck his SUV from behind, traveling over 100 miles an hour. The impact was so devastating that the crash killed the entire family in the SUV. Pat Huntley, with his kids on August 6th, and his granddaughter, who later died in the hospital, passed away. Even though it's going on 3 years this August since the tragic incident, I want to continue to give my condolences to Pat and his family. Pat Huntley was a Marine, a veteran who was passionate about employment opportunities for veterans regardless of their service. 2 years, I had the pleasure of working with Pat and sharing the same passion serving veterans. Pat had a partnership with various security companies, local hospitals, and local malls employing veterans throughout the Queens County and Nassau County. Pat was a leader, a mentor, and a role model. My final question to you, Elena, who was Pat?
That is a very heavy question as you're talking about that. I am reliving that moment because Pat was a really, really good friend of mine. I would say Pat is, to me, a monument. Pat is the type of man that you can rely on. He was dedicated. I actually met Pat before I was a veteran. And he was only working with veterans, but he was so kind to me as a young kid trying to find a job before the age of 18, I think so. But anyway, an aunt of mine recommended that I go to this place, to try to get employment and whatnot. And I went there and I met Pat, and ever since then, he's just kind of been in my life. He would check in, and I would get he would remember your birthday, and I would get random texts from him, 2 years time frame in between. Hey, just checking on you. He was so proud when I went into the Marine Corps. We stayed in touch through LinkedIn, and he would always check on me when I would start a new job. He would be, if there was nobody there to congratulate me, Pat was there to congratulate me. And one day out the blue, he called me and he told me there was a job opportunity in his industry that, he thought that I might be a good fit for, and asked me if I was in the job market. I didn't feel like I was in the job market, but he was so convincing. I said, why not? And at that time, I was already a veteran. So I interviewed for the job, applied, went through the whole process, and I got the job. And it turns out it was actually Pat's job. So he wanted me to replace him. And it was so weird because he called me out the blue. I don't know how many people he called. He could have called anybody. He could have not called me, but he did call me. And I'm very grateful for that, because that propelled me into servicing my veteran community, just a little bit more. And after that, so I started the job. Me and Pat both started our jobs. I don't remember the day of the week, but we started the jobs on the same day. So when he was starting his new job, he had another veteran-focused city job, and I was taking over his job. It was on the exact same day. And then 2 weeks passed, and it was a Friday, and I spoke to Pat, and I'm at work, I'm at the job, and maybe I shouldn't have not been doing this, but he calls me just to check in and see how things are going. How do I like the job? Are they treating you right? And I was telling him everything is going well. I'm so grateful that you thought of me. I love this job. This is really in line with what I've always wanted to do. And I was asking him about his job, and long story short, I spent my whole lunch break on the phone with him at my desk. I didn't even eat lunch. So right before we got off the phone, I told him, I said, Pat, like, I'm so proud of you because he really propelled and got a high leadership role. So I said, Pat, do you ever take time for yourself and, to celebrate yourself? And I said, Pat, make sure you celebrate yourself this weekend. Like, I'm so proud of you. I'm actually, friends of mine actually wanted to take me out to celebrate the new position. So I did that. I did that on a Saturday. And then I guess Pat decided to celebrate on Sunday. I don't know if that was already his plans, but I did encourage him, you definitely should go out. And he ended up taking his family out to dinner. And he was actually headed to go get ice cream from what I was told. And he was driving down Sunrise Highway in Long Island, New York. And he was hit by an inebriated driver. So someone who was under the influence. I don't remember if it was alcohol or substances. And he lost his life. And I remember it took me a long time to come to terms with it. I guess you can compare it to the way that men might feel losing Kobe Bryant. It's like a shock. And it took me a month to really realize, oh, this is real. I went to the funeral and everything. I've never seen that many caskets at a funeral. And it was extremely sad because a coworker that I had just met told me on Monday morning, and I said, I couldn't believe him. I thought he was joking, but it's really crazy. And I feel as though Pat is one of my monuments and he's also one of my angels. I miss him deeply.
Wow. I don't have a follow-up question for that other than I don't know the man, but it sounds like he made a great impression on both of you.
Yes, he did.
And this is Rudy really wanted to talk about this particular guy, Pat, for this episode. So it actually started with that. And we also had to launch you guys' Service, She Said podcast. I don't even know how to follow that up, bro. Other than Pat, you'll be missed.
Yes, he
Right?
is. Yes,
He is definitely missed.
Pat Huntley.
Pat
It's-
Huntley?
Yeah, Huntley. Yeah. It's almost
You
like
know?
Not as deep as them, but
Yeah.
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 It's always like a thing you have to think of, like, what would Pat do? Like, how would Pat behave in this situation? Because he was professional. It was to the point where veterans still talk about it to this day. He had a tie drawer for men. So if they would come on an interview and they just had a collar shirt, even if they had a denim shirt on, he was giving them a tie just to give them that little bit of of professionalism. He just always went above and beyond. He held his decorum about himself. You never really heard anything bad about him. He was just the epitome of professionalism and also a man with integrity. People always look at like female and male relationships and think that there's something to be desired there. And no, he was just a great man. I can't say that enough.
I hope when I'm gone, people would speak glowingly like that of me.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
thank you for having us.
Sharing this military
Appreciate it.
story. Thanks for your services. You too, Rudy. Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome, brother. You're welcome.
You brought all this together today, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rudy.
All right. This is Sportsmanlike Conduct Podcast. Signing off. Don't forget to tune into Service She Said podcast coming soon. Peace.
Peace.
Sportsmanlike conduct.